Hey everybody, it's Alex, the founder and CEO at Motoroso.com, and in this video we're going to take a close-up look at the AMP Research PowerStep for the brand new full-size Ford Bronco, as well as a detailed step-by-step how-to installation guide to show you how easy they are to install. Now, as usual, we sell these products, and we'll put a link to this in the description when you're ready to buy, and if you appreciate this video and like it, we'd love it if you'd buy these at Motoroso.com. Now, 2 months back, we made a video about the Rockslide Engineering Step Sliders, which is a full power drop step as well as a really sturdy rock slider, which can withstand severe off-road punishment. So if you're going to be wheeling your Bronco hard and want the power drop step, we recommend checking that video out right here. But if you're not going to be off-roading as aggressively and you're not worried about getting that extra protection for your Bronco, then the AMP Research PowerStep might be the right product for you. Now, additionally, compared to everything else that is out there really are only 2 power drop step options for the 2-door Bronco, and we're going to be installing these on a 2-door. You've got the Rockslide Engineerings for the 2-door and the AMP Research. Now, the AMP Research is the only option that is the same product for both the 4-door and the 2-door. The difference is you just trim the step down a little shorter. AMP Research is one of the largest and most well-known manufacturers of power drop steps, and their products are designed, engineered, and manufactured right here in the United States of America, and that's something we definitely care a lot about here at Motoroso.com. Now, they also usually offer 3 different variations of their drop steps. They offer the regular PowerStep, the PowerStep XL, and the PowerStep Extreme. But at the time of making this video, the only offering for the full-size Bronco is their regular original PowerStep. If they do add the XL or the Extreme offering later on, we'll go ahead and put links to those in the description as well, and probably make another video, so check out our channel for that. Now, the way these steps work is that it's going to sense when the door is opened, and the electric motor will automatically deploy the step a full 13 inches from the door sill. Of course, it comes out a few inches as well, making it nice and easy to get in and out. The kit also includes LED lighting that will illuminate the steps and the ground to make sure you don't step on the step and slip and bash your shins up real bad. Now, when you close the door, it'll sense that, and a couple seconds later, it'll close the step right up against the body of the truck. It's going to sit nice and low profile, look very clean, and it's also going to give you better ground clearance than you'd have with a traditional running board that comes on this Bronco, which is going to be better for those off-road excursions and reduce the chances that you're going to bang these on something on the trail, which if you do, does stand the potential to damage these because they are not designed to be a rock slider. The system includes these die-cast aluminum articulating arms, which can support up to 500 pounds. Now, they also feature stainless steel pins for longevity and to resist corrosion, and it's PTFE lined in the joints to make sure you get smooth operation and long-term durability. The aluminum step is then mounted to these articulating arms, and this aluminum step is coated in a military-grade high-grip powder coating that not only looks great, it's going to stand up to the elements of time, but it's also going to help maintain traction in bad weather conditions. Now, the articulating arms in the steps are deployed by a single motor on each side, and those motors feature a protective plastic housing that's going to help keep the gunk and the grime from the trail out of the motor from gunking up the system. Now, of course, the kit also features a full OEM-grade wiring harness that's going to make the installation nice and clean and easy, and of course, durable, stand up to the test of time. It includes the LED lights that mount on the underside of the vehicle to illuminate the steps. It also features a weather-resistant control module that mounts in the engine bay, and that's going to stand up to the temperatures of the engine bay, but also any sort of weather conditions that might get onto it. That thing's tough, and it's what's controlling the steps when they open up, and that's happening because it's connected through the OBD II port. And that is nice because that eliminates the need for any sort of door magnets or sensors to detect when the doors are opening, making installation a real breeze. And the installation is a breeze. We're going to show you how to do that step by step in just a moment. Now, if you've got a 2-door Bronco, the way that this works is the kit is exactly the same. The only difference is you're going to need to cut the length of the step down, and that's a pretty simple thing to do. You can use a hacksaw, the cap comes off, cut the step down, and put the cap back on. Pretty straightforward. Now, for the first dozen or so orders on these, we're going to be offering a cutting service where we will cut these ahead of time for you for an additional $100, and that way when you get them shipped to you, you just have to install them and mount them right up, and that may make your life easier. We're not sure we're going to be able to continue offering that service, so depending on when you're watching this video, reach out to us and let us know if you're still interested in that, and if we're still offering it, we'd love to help make the installation even easier for you. All right, if you'd like to buy these steps, we're going to put a link right here as well as in the description of the video, and again, it's the same item for either the 4-door or the 2-door. Now, we sell hundreds of thousands of different products at Motoroso.com, and there you can reach us on live chat, or you can call us toll-free at 833-MOTOROSO. We love helping our customers plan their builds. Now, let's go ahead and dig into this installation guide. If you have OEM steps or sliders on your Bronco, first you'll need to remove them, and to do this, you simply remove the 13mm bracket bolts. For this kit, there are two different types of linkage arms. The arm without the motor linkage will be installed in the front, and the arm with the motor mount will be installed in the rear on each side using this supplied hardware. We'll begin on the driver's side front by partially threading in the lower bolt. The linkage arm has a cutout you can slide over the bolt and hang the arm in place. You can then place the second bolt in the upper position. Then, using a 15mm socket, snug the upper bolt down and use a 15mm ratcheting box wrench to secure the lower bolt. In the rear, follow a similar process by placing the lower bolt and hanging the linkage arm from it. Then place the upper bolt and tighten both of these using a 15mm socket and a 15mm ratcheting box wrench. You're now ready to install your first motor on the rear linkage using the supplied 13mm bolts. On the driver's side, this wiring harness will get in your way. Use a panel lever to pull the plastic hangers out of the frame and pull the harness aside out of the way. Doing your best to line up the gears with the arm fully articulated in the down position, press the motor in place, then line up the mounting holes and use the two 13mm bolts to mount. Torque these bolts to 36 inch-pounds of torque, then replace your wiring harness hangers. Now you can repeat this process on the passenger side, except you won't have to move a wiring harness to mount the motor. With our linkage arms installed, we can get started with the wiring harness, and we'll install the steps at the end. Start by removing the fuse from the wiring harness. Then, making sure the rubber gaskets are in place, connect the wiring harness to the control module, making sure that each connector is securely clicked in place. On the Bronco, there's not a great place to mount this control module, but we followed the instructions and mounted it on the power lines coming off of the fuse box next to the battery using the supplied 11-inch zip ties. Next, using a 10mm socket, we connected the red line to the positive battery terminal and the black line to the negative battery terminal. Next, we'll find the longer run of wiring, and this is for the passenger side steps. We'll be running this along the firewall, zip tying along the way, always making sure to avoid anything hot, sharp, or rotating. Now we'll be passing the wiring harness down through the passenger side wheel well and along the frame rail. We like to use a coat hanger as a line feed to make things easier. We recommend passing behind the body bolt, but on the outside of the frame rail along the brake lines. And then you can zip tie along the frame rail all the way to the rear motor, where you will be plugging in the wiring harness into the motor. On the two-door, you will have quite a bit of excess. You can simply double it back on itself and use zip ties to secure the excess. We suggest locating the red and black LED wires next to each of the articulating arms, and we'll be connecting the LED lights later. With our motor connected, we can now place the plastic motor cover. Do this using the supplied black pop clips by pressing them through the mounting holes and then tapping them gently with a peen hammer. Next up, we'll find the shorter run for the driver's side, making sure to separate the purple wires, leaving those at the firewall for now. Similar to the passenger side, using a coat hanger, pass these down through the wheel well behind the body bolt on the outside of the frame rail along the brake lines. Run the harness down to the rear linkage and plug it into the rear linkage, zip tying along the way, then doubling back the excess and zip tying it out of the way. Just like the passenger side, mount the plastic motor cover using the supplied pop clips. To install the LED lights, we pass the wires through the existing holes in the pinch weld next to the articulating arms. Then, using the supplied butt connectors, we crimped red to red and black to black. These are shrink connectors, so after they're tightly connected, use a flame to shrink the casing around the wires. Clean the mounting surface using rubbing alcohol, then peel off the backing of the double-sided tape and press firmly in place. Zip tie any excess wiring up and out of the way and repeat this for the other 3 LED lights. Start by locating and pushing out this oval grommet on the driver's side firewall. The harness on this kit includes far too much wire, so the instructions suggest trimming back the protective sheathing to about 1 foot and then use electrical tape to secure it. Before cutting the purple wires, pass them through the oval grommet and pull this wire all the way through from the driver's side footwell. Now, giving yourself enough length to work with, you can trim the purple wires down and strip a 1/2 inch of insulation off the end of each wire. Using the supplied larger gray posi connectors, loosen one end by slightly unthreading it, then slide the wire into the open end and press it firmly and then retighten the connector to secure it. Now, using the OBD II port plug, match the solid purple to the solid purple and the purple with black stripe to purple with black stripe wires on each side of the posi connectors. And yes, we agree they should have used different colored wires. Lastly, there are two small wires that need to be connected to a control module that is on the upper left side of the driver's side footwell. For this, you will use the two smaller posi tab connectors supplied by AMP Research. First, start by locating this control module and the two wires you'll be tapping into, the gray wire with the orange stripe and the purple wire with the orange stripe. To tap into these wires, start by unthreading the black end of the posi taps completely. Place the black cap over the wire and then thread the posi tap firmly back onto the black cap. Do this for each wire. Next, you will loosely unthread the red end of the posi tap, being careful not to drop it behind the kick panel. Trust us, that sucks. Now you will connect the white wire on the OBD II plug to the gray wire with the orange stripe and the blue wire to the purple wire with the orange stripe. Pull gently on both connections to make sure they're firm. Then plug the OBD II plug into the OBD II port and carefully zip tie any excess wiring up and out of the way. If you have a 4-door Bronco, then you can install the steps exactly the way they come out of the package. You do not need to cut your steps, leave them at the full length of 72 inches and skip the cutting process in the next few steps. But if you have a 2-door Bronco, these steps will need to be cut down to 55 inches. Start by removing the end caps off both ends of the step by simply pulling it off firmly. Next, we suggest removing the threaded blocks from the channel on the underside of the step to make sure they don't fall out and get lost during this process. Set them aside with the end caps and we'll reinstall them later. We were able to use a large machine to make our cut, but this can be done with a hacksaw or an angle grinder. Just be careful to make it a straight cut. We will be trimming each step to 55 inches in length. Remember, measure 3 times and cut once. Once your cut is completed, you may need to do a little cleanup with a file, but the end cap will cover this pretty well and it's okay if it's a little rough. With the steps cut, replace your 2 threaded blocks back into the channel and then replace your end caps by tapping firmly to make sure they're seated in place. The last thing to do before turning on your steps is to mount the steps to the articulating arms. Start by lining up the threaded blocks in the channel with the holes in each of the articulating arms as best you can. Using the supplied 3 16-inch hex head socket cap bolts, pass one bolt through one of the mounting holes and try to get the thread started, being very careful not to cross thread these bolts. With one bolt on each end loosely installed, measure the distance from the leading edge of the front articulating arm to the end of the step. You want this distance to be 9.5 inches, and then you can finish tightening the hardware and install the second mounting bolt on each arm. AMP Research recommends tightening these bolts to 10 foot-pounds of torque. Repeat this process for the other step. With the step installed, AMP Research also recommends tightening your linkage arm mounting bolts to 30 foot-pounds. If you've got everything installed, the last step is to simply reinstall the fuse back into the wiring harness. Your steps should automatically deploy and retract to calibrate the upper and lower limits. Test each of the steps by opening the door. The steps should extend immediately and retract after a few seconds after closing the door. If any of the steps do not deploy properly or the LED lights are not working, go back and check all of your wiring at all connection points. Congratulations, you got a new set of AMP Research deployable steps on your Bronco. All right, we just finished our installation. As you can see, pretty straightforward process, really easy, and they work the first time around. Now, they look really nice when they're tucked up in there, and they look good when they're deployed as well. If you'd like to buy the AMP Research PowerSteps, click this link right here or the link in the description. That's going to take you over to Motoroso.com, where you can buy them on our website. We're also available there on live chat, or you can call us toll-free at 833-668-6767. Now, if you're going to be doing some hardcore off-roading and you want a step slider and a power drop step, check out this video right here for the Rockslide Engineering step sliders, which they have 4-door options and 2-door options, and those things are going to really provide that hardcore off-road protection that you need. They cost a little bit more, but they're well worth it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you soon.